So just a couple of weeks after Terminator Dark Fate's disastrous opening weekend, director Tim Miller sat down with KCRW's Kim Masters for a revealing interview on why the movie flopped, his relationship with James Cameron, and more ideas throughout production of the film. What's interesting about this interview is how candid Miller is during the entire thing, which I'll leave a link to down in the description box if you want to hear it. It's about 20 minutes long, and essentially the two of them just talk about the fact that audiences were not invested or interested enough to come see a new Terminator movie, and why that might have been, some of the causes, franchise fatigue, the trailers, marketing, etc. But some of the most revealing points about this interview was how Miller spoke about James Cameron. If you guys have been keeping up with everything, Jim Cameron signed on for this new Terminator movie as a creative producer. It basically got put together because Miller thought it was going to be necessary to resurrect the franchise yet again. Cameron, alongside producer David Ellison, who holds the rights Skydance to the franchise, essentially had a lot more control than Tim Miller thought they would, and basically they had final say over what the cut of the movie was going to be. So when asked about if Miller would ever work with Cameron again, he flatly said no. But it has nothing to do with the trauma I have from the experience. It's more that I just don't want to be in a situation where I don't have the control to do what I think is right. During the interview, he also talked about a lot of disagreements they had over the final edit and over certain dialogue that characters would say. It seems like the fights they had came over to very minute details over if this character said X or Y, and why they were saying it, and why that was important to the movie. Terminator Dark Fate's worldwide gross is around $230 million, last I checked, and that's definitely not enough to recoup the $185 million that went into production costs, not even counting the marketing budget for the film. So at this point you can say the Terminator franchise is back on ice, no movies are happening now, nothing regarding this whole planned trilogy that Dark Fate was supposed to set up is going forward. When asked specifically about his thoughts on the movie flopping, he said he's still trying to process it and try to come to terms with how that happened. So a lot of this is kind of interesting to me because I actually attended a preview event where they talked about Dark Fate, or at least before it was called Dark Fate, when they talked about the new Terminator, dubbed Terminator 6 at the time, at the Paramount Studios in 2017. It was like fall, maybe September, October time, and I got to see Miller and Cameron in person talking with The Hollywood Reporter about, their plans for this new Terminator movie. I was there when they announced that Linda and Arnold were coming back, and hearing them, talk about their ideas and approach to making a new film in the series and how to kind of modernize it and keep it fresh and interesting and stuff. And it seems like, honestly, just kind of looking at everything objectively, tracking the production over the last 2 years and stuff, it might have just been a case of too many cooks in the kitchen to get a vision across. Because when you actually look at the writing credits on this movie, there's like 6 people listed as having a story and screenwriting credits or something, so I know that they put together a writer's room to try and crack these 3 movies, but again, it just might have been like a case of too many cooks in the kitchen, too many strong voices in the room to have one singular vision come on top. Especially when you have somebody like James Cameron who's kind of sitting in the corner, different than how Alita Battle Angel worked out apparently, because on that movie Rodriguez wanted to make what Cameron wanted to do, so it wasn't like, with Dark Fate where Miller had his very strong vision of where things should go, but Cameron differed on that, so I guess they just didn't get along or something. Drop your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think about all the stuff that has gone down and came as a result of Dark Fate not succeeding at the box office financially and not really winning over fans critically? I do find it kind of interesting that Miller strongly says he will never work with James Cameron again due to him not having control over things. He also does say that was the reason that he left Deadpool 2, because Ryan Reynolds was given a greater control than even he had on that project. As always, for all things Terminator and pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.